Hello, my name is Emmett McConnell, and this is A Second Look, a series where I break down the big plays and goals in MLS. If you enjoy this content, consider liking and subscribing to see more. In this episode, I'll look at the match between the Philadelphia Union and LAFC. These are two teams that have fairly similar ideologies that they stick by: win the ball in advanced areas, and move up the field quickly. Philadelphia, however, more than LAFC, adjusted its strategy for this match, and played to LAFC's weaknesses, while LAFC played to its own style. Let's take a second look. First, we'll look at LAFC's shape on the attack. We know that LAFC commits men forward on the ball, but this clip will show us exactly how LAFC want to set up to maximize the effectiveness of its shape. First off, LAFC play a 4-3-3, but with the ball, it looks more like this: a 3-1-4-2 or a 3-2-3-2. This adjustment is reliant on the flexibility of the players. Eddie Segura is playing as the sweeper in a back three, with Walker Zimmerman and Jordan Harvey spreading the field next to him. It's important that LAFC have a player through the middle of the pitch where Segura currently is. Were he out here, like many flat back fours attempt, then LAFC would be easily countered through the middle of the pitch. One bad pass would set Kasper Shibilko through. Next, there's Edward Atuesta in the defensive midfield role. We all know how important a deep-lying playmaker is at this point, and almost every LAFC attack goes through Atuesta. Next is the four midfielders. It starts with Diego Rossi creating the width on the left, then Marc-Anthony Kaye and Carlos Vela in the middle, with Steven Beitashour creating the width on the right. It doesn't always look this way. Sometimes Vela plays more as a 10 or even a second striker with Blessing in the midfield, or Beitashour tucks into the midfield while Vela creates the width on the left. However, this time it's Blessing who comes in as the second striker alongside Adama Diomande. But playing in a 3-4-1-2 isn't what's really important here. It's how LAFC are creating diamonds between players. A midfield triangle is often thrown out as an important shape, but the diamond is really the most important to creating as many options as possible for your teammates to get the ball forward. Here is one between Zimmerman, Beitashour, Kaye, and Blessing. Zimmerman could reasonably play into Beitashour, who then also has three options for his next pass. There's another here, with Atuesta, Kaye, and Beitashour, and even here with Zimmerman, Segura, Atuesta, and goalkeeper Tyler Miller. The diamond needs to have a top and a bottom. The top, a player who's closest to goal to play off of, and at the bottom, a player who's in the back in case of a giveaway, which is why we call it a diamond and not a square. And then, of course, to finish it off, two players on either side. If you look around this pitch, you can make out a plethora of diamonds that LAFC could combine between. Watch as the pass comes into Edward Atuesta. Kaye and Vela slide out slightly, while Diomande checks in, and another diamond is created. It's so hard to defend this because the two sides of the diamond suck out the center midfielders Alejandro Bedoya and Harris Medunjanin in this case, which allows for a pass into the forward. I think Atuesta takes too many touches to play this into Dio, and the diamond breaks down, as does this attack. But creating these diamonds are crucial to what LAFC do. Now let's look at the Union's defensive shape to counter this. The Union did a terrific job of staying narrow like this. Look at how tight all 10 outfield players are for the Union. It created plenty of turnovers in the midfield, but even when it didn't, LAFC were forced to try and utilize space out wide, here and here, which the Union were fine with, even if the ball is with the team's two leading goal scorers, Diego Rossi and Carlos Vela. Staying narrow was key to preventing attacks in two areas once LAFC got into the final third. The first was Zone 14, which is this area in front of the 18-yard box, and the second is in the channels. The play starts off, and we see another diamond created by LAFC here as they enter Zone 14. It's important to note that creating diamonds is crucial for getting the ball into the final third, but once there, that kind of structure has to go out the window, and players need to improvise and be creative to break down a defense at this point. The two areas of vulnerability were well protected for most of the match. In this play, the Union keep it tight, and Kaye is unable to get a pass into Zone 14, while Ray Gaddis also doesn't get sucked out to Diego Rossi. He stays narrow and prevents the pass going into the channel. LAFC's two best chances, however, did come from a combination of getting into the channel and into Zone 14. The Union are working back after LAFC moved the ball upfield quickly, and are doing a great job of keeping it tight in Zone 14. Diego Rossi gets this pass in the box. The Union defense now has to drop into the box to defend a cross, as Vela, Diomande, and Blessing move into position. It comes back into the vacated Zone 14 now, and Atuesta has enough room to cut across the goal and hit a strong far post shot, and Andre Blake just gets the narrowest of touches to keep it out. Now for LAFC's equalizer, which more so epitomizes the value of getting into Zone 14, as well as running in the channel. Philadelphia again have a good shape, with 8 men in front of the penalty area. But we'll see how Diego Rossi, driving into zone 14, then finds a run into the channel here. As Rossi cuts across, Gaddis leaves him for Bedoya to pick up, but no one ends up getting close to him, and Rossi can pick his head up. And that's a cue for Mark-Anthony Kaye, who then runs off of Brenden Aaronson and makes for this channel. Kai Wagner is predisposed with saying narrow, as well as Diomande inside of him, as the ball goes over him, and he's flat-footed. As the ball goes into the channel, the 3 forward men for LAFC know to crash towards the net. Kaye hits a loopy chip off of the crossbar, and honestly, if this went in, it would easily be goal of the week. From a great run across zone 14 to a chip onto the run for Kaye, Rossi does really well to set this up. Carlos Vela ends up finishing it off, in perhaps one of his more poacher-friendly goals of the season. So now we've seen how LAFC build the ball forward, how the Union stayed compact in an effort to close off zone 14 and balls into the channel, and how LAFC broke through anyway. Let's go to the other side, because with the Union, when in possession farther up the field, Opta did not play through the middle against LAFC, which is where the LA Galaxy succeeded in overwhelming the LAFC midfield. Instead, the Union played wide and drew out the narrow LAFC defenders. Often by running along the end line, the Union can get behind Jordan Harvey and Steven Beitashour, and then pull out a center back, leaving just one left to mark in the box. Here we see second half substitute Ilsinho getting past 2 men. The center forward, Kasper Shibilko, is out on the touchline when Ilsinho initiates the give and go. Eddie Segura is drawn out of the middle, and now only Walker Zimmerman and Steven Beitashour guard the middle of the field. I'm not sure why Shibilko wants the foul here, and had he continued on, likely could have engineered a better opportunity. Shibilko wasn't afraid of running wide into the channels and drawing out defenders when necessary, and in this play, with just a slight drop of the shoulder, is able to get into a really good crossing position after drawing in 3 LAFC players. Now, the Union's decision to utilize the wide areas doesn't mean that they wouldn't go up the middle if there was the space. With a tight-packed midfield, the Union were able to win the ball and counter quickly in several situations like this one, where Brenden Aaronson almost scores on his own. LAFC, meanwhile, countered its loss of possession with quick counter-pressing, something that it's done well throughout the season. An important aspect to this press was forcing the Union wide, and then hunting with 4 players. 1 pressing the ball, 1 preventing a pass inside, 1 preventing a pass back, and another usually to pick up the loose ball. Instead of playing through the press, Philadelphia was fine with just playing it direct. Andre Blake would often just launch the ball upfield to the right side for Shibilko and Fafa Pico to fight against Eddie Segura and Jordan Harvey. The Union had a narrow aerial advantage in these situations, but even when Segura won the header, it often fell to a Philadelphia midfielder, who now had time to initiate attack in the middle of the park. And that's even how the first goal was scored, which was combined with good play down the wing. Up it comes from Blake, and Pico does win this one, flicking it on for Alejandro Bedoya, who has now drawn out Eddie Segura. Zimmerman is now all alone marking Shibilko. Pico makes the underlap after winning the header, and Pico slots him to the end line. Walker Zimmerman checks over his right shoulder, wary of a possible run to the near post. He's worried and doesn't want to be beat there, so he doesn't realize the threat of Shibilko over his head. Pico does a really good job of standing it up to Shibilko, who actually has a really tough task, as he leaps backwards. It's tough to get power on the header and get it on target in these situations. However, instead of going for power, he just loops it up over the keeper back towards the near post. Really good header from the Union striker. Philadelphia knew that LAFC wanted to attack in zone 14 and in the channels behind the fullbacks, and generally did a great job of preventing that, outside of one fantastic combination between Rossi and Kaye. LAFC also tried to counterpress and win the ball high up the field, and the Union did a good job of bypassing this pressure by winning second balls in the midfield and running down the wings in the attack. I think Philadelphia did an overall better job of executing the game plan. Both teams created good opportunities, but Philadelphia in the end had some clear chances after crosses close to goal that should have ended up being the winner. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Until then, have a great day.